Hi everyone, welcome to iNVision Prototypes. I'm Nick. Today we're going to be working on one of the most complicated pieces on the M40C build to date, and that's going to be the hood. This is going to involve a low crown area, reverse curves, compound curves, a peak, hems on either side, as well as the back, a feature through here. It's a plethora of curvatures with no less than 6 sections that we need to join together, and that doesn't include the structure from underneath. I've already started working on the template, developed that, and that squiggly blue sine wave that goes up the length of the hood, that's going to be our wheeling zone. And the double wave that's up there, that's where we need to really focus on stretching the material over. And as we come down the length, it tapers out. So that's where the majority of this curvature is going to happen. So by stretching that out, that's going to roll the top over. There may be some shrinking that we need to do along the top edge there, but we'll see how far we get. The side is more or less vertical, not quite vertical, but almost. And that's going to go up and blend into the door area. And this crease here that you see, that's the feature that I've been talking about ever since we started wheeling the doors out. And that goes down the length of the car, starting with a nice radius at the back and feathering out to almost nothing at the front here. That's going to be the end of it here, and then it's going to be smooth around the front, just like the 40s had. I've already got the piece cut out and passed it through the rubber wheel to give it that initial curvature, but it's going to be a really long process to wheel that panel out. If we go lengthways to kind of speed things up, it's going to potentially develop waves within the panel, and we don't want that. We want that curvature to come down nice and smooth all the way down from the door area there. So we have to do it horizontally for the most part, and the strokes are going to be really short. So that's what's going to take the time. Let's get started. So here we have our panel, and that's the direct translation off of that template, and we've got the curvature already put into it, about medium to light pressure, and here we go. Got to watch I don't hit the throat like that. See, I can't quite swing it around and continue on. So we're going to start at this end. And this is where we saw that double squiggle, which indicates that we have to create more stretch up here than down below there. You see the panel jittering? Those are the rubber tracking marks from the rubber wheel. See, that's as far as we can get. So unfortunately, we do have to go lengthways through this section here, but we'll do that afterwards. I'm just going to return back and give this area more stretch. Now you see the second time I'm passing it through, the jitters are much less significant. Okay, so we've got a nice curvature happening here. We have a curvature happening here. We have a reverse curve happening here now because we've stretched that. So I'm going to switch anvils to one that's a little more sharper. I'm going to blend the center section in because, well, this is what I didn't want to happen. But unless we cut a groove in the throat, I won't be able to slide this in that extra 10 inches. We need to get some help on this panel due to the length of it. I can't support the whole length properly, especially when we start developing the feature area. All right. Now that I've cleaned up that little dish that was happening there, let's do some more horizontal wheeling. I don't want to overwheel this area through here because the front of the hood is fairly straight. It's got a gentle curve. Most of the curve happens up there. What I think we're going to do at this point is change anvils to a higher crown anvil. I'll get some help on this panel, and then once we wheel it a bit more with a higher crown anvil, we'll switch over to rubber wheel and roll that over because I don't have enough leverage to close the panel up. And we'll go up on the buck and we'll check it at that point. Okay, so I've opened up this panel a bit so we can get a bit of a higher crown anvil in. I want to still maintain as wide a surface, contact wheeling surface as possible. We start in the middle, wheel out the middle, and then work our way towards the back edge of the hood, because that's, like I said earlier, that's where most of the curvature is happening. So I'm just going to wheel the middle. And we're just staying within that wheeling zone. Blue area that I indicated up above there. Okay, now we're going to come back a bit more. That's better. Now the wheeling zone widens as we come to the back. You may have to do this 2 or 3 times in the sense of wheel it out, close the panel, check it, and then open it back up and re-wheel it. You don't want to overwheel it, and if you do overwheel it, all you do is stretch the top edge and it'll level it back out again. Oop, okay, that's it. So, a bit more curvature, but it's really open. So we're going to close this up now. Not enough leverage to do by hand, so I'm going to put the rubber wheel in. Now we're going to close the panel. Wheel it through a few times. Okay, more in the back. All we're doing is bending right now. But I'm doing multiple passes to kind of get rid of those tracking marks from that upper wheel. We'll smooth it out in a minute once I know the curvature is appropriate. Okay, that's it. And as you can see, we have to close the panel a bit more. Before we do that, I just want to double check and make sure that we have the right amount of curvature. It's quite nice through here, but over there at the rear, we need to bring that out some more. Maintaining a light to medium pressure. We don't want to create any ridges in the panel. We just want to stretch out that wheeling zone so that the top surface rolls over and the panel curves around the back edge of the hood. Okay, that's good. Okay, let's lay this back up there. Now it might look like we have too much curvature. I'm going to close the back a bit there. And next thing we're going to do is take and stretch this area through here. Just blend in this area that we stretched up here down into here. And then we're going to work on the bottom edge. This edge is getting tighter as we're wheeling this area here. Okay, let go for a second. I'm gonna blend that in. Okay. Not sure if you guys can see it, how this radius is coming out now. So we're almost there. Let's close the panel again. Now this is our ultimate flat anvil that I'm using right now. And I just did a little like flattening through here just to take care of any little wheeling marks from the rubber wheel after rolling it over and closing the panel. The curvature is exactly what we need for the buck up there. But I can't settle it all the way down onto the buck because we're an inch too long. And I left an inch so we can take and blend this into the next panel. This is the start for the next panel. And we'll scribe to that. So right now we have to take the panel, flip it upside down, scribe the back an inch, and roll it through using the sharp edge on the anvil as a kind of a tipping wheel and roll it over. Do my famous freehand scribe of 1 inch. I know some guys get a kick out of this. Okay. Want to double check that?
Hang on.
1 inch exactly, guys. Okay, now for the fun part. We're going to apply just enough force to the upper wheel to pinch the panel.
And you apply a little bit of down pressure on this side.
That's it. So my dad's going to apply just a bit of down pressure at the wheel area here because we don't want to distort the panel. We want to bend it over gently. And it might take 2 or 3 passes to accomplish what we need to do, but let's get started. So I'm going to sight it through, push through, and you're just going to give it a bit of down pressure. How does it look? This shape is helping us roll the panel over. If this shape wasn't there, we would have trouble. They'd be flexing all over the place. Right now we have a nice consistent break happening. There we go. So that's the first break. Kind of hard to see on that side, but I'm not sure if you can see it. We have a nice consistent break happening 1 inch in from the edge. So now we can take and push it over a bit harder. The first pass is always the most difficult. Okay, push down. We don't want a sharp crease in there. If I use the actual tipping wheel, the upper wheel is pretty sharp. This lower anvil gives us a perfect radius.
I can't put too much pressure because I interfere with your steering.
Okay. And because we're dealing with a curve here, that end has to go out that way. You can't run a straight line. So I think we're almost there. We could probably go 1 more pass just to bring it up a little bit higher. And as you can see, we don't have to do anything with this edge. It's done. We don't have to put it in the kick shrinker or anything. It's where it needs to be. You might cut back on it later, but for now, to fit the panels and clamp everything together, that's perfect. This is working out quite well. The fun part's going to be making the passenger side piece, because we have to do everything we did here the mirror opposite. Done. And there we go, guys. let's get this up on the car and see how badly it fits. It's got a little bit of a twist to it. You got to twist your end down. See that? And we have to go past into the door area. There we go. There we go. So we do have to do a little bit of tweaking on it. And this top edge, you can see it is a little bit ripply, so we might have to stretch that wheeling zone just a bit more to have it sit properly. But for now, that's going to be it. I lied. We are going to have to put this area through here in the kick shrinker. As you can see, we have a small buckle there because this section of the hood is fairly straight. We don't want a big curve through here. So we'll just address that little spot there, but the rest of it is sitting perfectly. So now we can go make the other side, get these two sides clamped in place, and then work on the center. I think this is going to be as close as we're going to get this template to fit to the front nose piece of the hood here.